girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their
All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome. Good morning, mi amigos. Always on time. That's right. That's right, John. Got to, man. Got to. Got to be on time. Puzzle? It's over there. Got a puzzle going. Morning, everyone. Margin, Pat, Golf Nut, Brian English, Anna, good morning. 3 Printer, Jacob, Kevin, Larry, Luis, Robert Davenport. Morning, sir. Bruce, Son, Britt, Pat. Morning, everyone. All right. Thanks, guys. The doc is coming back. I got to be careful what I say about the doc, man. I don't know. I mean, at face value, love to watch the guy, but made some poor decisions, it seems. All right, guys. So, yesterday, finally got that move that we were looking for. Finally got that little bear flag breakdown. We were talking about that all week pretty much, that 100 SMA on the ES, or I'm sorry, on the SPY. That sort of shitty grind to the upside, and finally got a nice piece of that yesterday. Nice action yesterday. Midday, is where it's starting to heat up. Something that I talked about. I don't know if I talked about it. I think I talked about it here on the live stream, but definitely in the group. Talked about that 2022 type price action where you get pretty much nothing in the morning. You get a bunch of sucker moves, sort of choppy crap that maybe slides higher, maybe goes sideways, and then you get these late day slides, these late day volume moves. Sometimes around that European close, and it's something that you've seen. I've seen this back in 2022 quite often. When the market was going down, and maybe it's some kind of a sign of a weak market, right? You get sort of that shitty upside, choppy upside, and then that late day sort of slide. We've seen that 2 days in a row now. Honestly, you could probably call it 3 days in a row. So going to look for that same thing again, right? Where are we sliding higher into today? Where can we possibly see some rejections? What is our rejection spot to watch today? That's going to be where I lock in to look for that spot again today. Yesterday, it was up at that 100 SMA on the SPY. That was the spot that we've been talking about. Today, it looks more like 18.2 on the Nasdaq futures. That's sort of the big spot I'm going to watch here. It's around that 200 SMA on the Nasdaq. So, yeah, we'll go over all the levels today, the levels I'm watching for potential fades. Yesterday, the levels on the S&P were awesome, 52.80, 52.40, really clean. That 18.4 break on the Nasdaq futures yesterday really caused the downside continuation. We had some sick break-in retests that I'll show you guys on the short term yesterday. Just really, really nice. So appreciate you guys with all the support. Thanks for all the congrats on the trade. Thank you guys. Hopefully you're able to see just sort of that general belief in that level up there, that supply level, that gap fill reversal trade. We've been talking about it, and it just took a little bit of confidence, man, right? It's not something that I haven't talked about here, talked about in the group. It was sort of that thing that was on my mind all week. I was wrong about it on Monday. I was slightly wrong about it on Tuesday, right? I had a little bit of doubt because it was sort of chopping me out at times, but it was there, and congrats if you caught it, guys. I know a lot of you guys have been watching it, that bear flag setup, so congrats if you caught a piece of that yesterday. All right, let's get started. Press that like button if you guys could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's pull in that economic calendar. Here we go. So today, unemployment claims 8:30. Wholesale inventories 10 o'clock. Mortgage delinquencies. It says tentative. Not sure when that's going to come out, but unsure of its real importance. 30-year bond auction could be something to watch today. You didn't get that much action on the 1-year bond auction yesterday. Not that much. I mean, it's you did get a nice move on the 10-year at that time. So you did see the market react to it on the 10-year. If I go to the 10-year and I go to 1 o'clock, am I in the right thing? I'll just go to the TNX. No, they don't have the TNX anymore. Where's that 10-year at 1 o'clock? You saw like right here, the 10-year pop. It's just, but nothing really. I don't think it was really too material to what the market was doing yesterday. I mean, it was breaking down and weak. I mean, maybe you could say that this drop here was due to that, but I mean, there was reasons for the drop regardless of that 10-year bond auction. So I don't think it's that important. The 30-year, we can watch it today. Let me pull that back up. We could watch that 30-year, but I don't think it's too major for the market today. Unemployment claims at 8:30 is really the big event. So let's keep an eye on that. That's 8:30 today. It's in about 24 minutes. Let's see what that does this morning, and then we'll react to the levels on our charts. Economic or earnings calendar, sorry. Earnings calendar. Let me turn this. I got to turn this gain up a little bit. Sorry, it's a little low today. Earnings calendar. Eli Lilly this morning. That's really it. Datadog, SoundHound, Elf, Unity Software later on today. Nothing really. What's Eli Lilly? Going up? Nice. Oh, nice. Oh, I got to call my dad. I got to text my father right now, actually. Hold on. He's a big Eli Lilly guy. And he asked me if he should sell his shares before earnings. And I said, hell no. Don't you dare do that. Lilly up big on earnings. Up to 864. All right. Good thing he didn't sell. All right. So, yeah, Eli Lilly up nice. Why do we care what platform my dad uses to invest in? Why does that matter? I'm not going to tell you that. That's totally irrelevant. All right. Let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Here we go. Nasdaq futures. Let's dive on in. So, yesterday, this gap, this supply up here, this 18,005, this 18,550, these rejection points from that Friday move. You guys can see right here, right there, right? That 18,550, 18,5, that whole area that we've been spotting, we've been sort of stalking, finally gave us the rejections yesterday and the beautiful downside continuation. If you watched my video yesterday, you'll hear me talk about how I used this very clear high that was being built intraday as my level to just sort of smack this thing, right? I started to see this develop, and I said, you know what? This is really clean. It's happening on the Nasdaq. It's happening on the Qs. It's on the ES. It's on the SPY. It's on everything. And I'm going to go ahead and use these highs now as my guide to go ahead and short this off the supply. So very clear there off that 18.5, 18.550 supply. Very, very clean yesterday. We got that rejection. We moved down into that 18.2, right? You guys remember that 18.2 level? That was that 200 SMA, right? You got your drop into 18.2. You had a little pop off of it, right? But extreme weakness, no real upside, and you saw the fail come in underneath it. Failed underneath it, and after the 18.2 break right here, guys, that was really it, right? After that 18.2 break, that was really, really where that downside started to come in. I want to show you something that is very clear yesterday on the Nasdaq futures that really could have been the better entry and the more clean entry. This was an entry that I actually posted this on Twitter. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you saw me say 18.4, make it sexy, right? You saw me say that, right? That was right here, right? That was the intraday lows, right? Right here, intraday lows. And look at just how beautiful that is right there. That is this intraday low turning into a perfect double top rejection on the intraday yesterday. This is the real short entry. This is the confirmation, clear, clean-cut short entry without having to deal with the shit show that I had to deal with, right? Sort of holding my position yesterday. This right here is where the clean-cut and beautiful short entry steps up, right? That's your opening, that's sort of your pre-market low there. That's your intraday low. And that intraday low at 18.4 turning into the most perfect, clean rejection right there. I mean, that does not get any cleaner. That is exactly the short entry, that you're looking for. So that's where I could have improved yesterday, right? This was absolutely perfection, and we were spotting it, and we were talking about it in the group, and I know a lot of you guys caught it, so congratulations. I was already short at that time, so I wasn't really doing too much, on entry points. I was taking a little bit of entries here, but most of my shorts were sort of piled in here. And, I did have to sit through that shit, unfortunately. This would have been the much more stress-free technical confirmation short entry. That is extremely clean yesterday. So just wanted to point that out, that 18.4, that was sick. Under 18.2, we had more downside continuation. And it looks like this morning, if I go to this, I'm actually going to go to the 5-minute chart. I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart here, and we're going to look at this Nasdaq. Actually, let's go to the 15. I think 15 is better. I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart on the Nasdaq, and I think there's one of two levels. I personally prefer looking at it like this, right? I'd prefer this market, this Nasdaq market, to pop back into 18.2 today and then look for that failure. Right? I would much prefer to see something up here at 18.2. That's really where I want to fade this market. Back at the 200, right? Back at those lows, back at some of these previous rejection points. This would really be the spot that I would love to see the market pop into today, right? This is the spot that I want, the bulls to come in, start trying to push this thing higher, and then see that fail come in at 18.2. That's really where I want to be targeting today for that next entry point. It could, right? It could reject around 18,100. I saw some reactions there yesterday around 18.1, and you're seeing some reactions there in the pre-market today. So you could watch this little 18.1 spot. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see right here, 18.1, couple reactions there, right? Some reactions here in the pre-market. It might be 18.1, right? 18.1 here. But I think the 18.2 is really where you want to look for it today. So going to watch both of them, but I do prefer that 18.2 much more, and it has that 200 SMA on it, so that could be just beautiful. So that's definitely a spot today. To the downside, a little bit careful of this 17,880. You can see right here, 17,880 holding up, and then this 17,760 holding up as well. So 2 demand levels below that I am cautious of. Let me go to that 5-minute chart. You can see right here on that 5-minute chart, you had some support step in back here, right? 17,760. And then if we go over to the right, we can see that 17,760 is holding this morning, right? Right here. See this? 17,760 last night, big hold. So a little bit cautious right here into 880, a little bit cautious right here into 760. If we drop 880, we drop 760, we're going lower, right? Break and retest under this low right here is a clear-cut confirmation that we are moving lower, all right? So watching under 880, watching under 760, if we start dropping these levels today, we're going lower, right, with confidence. If we get a pop, I would love this pop and fade. This would be the pop and fade of the day. That would be sick. That would be sick. So this is the daily SMA. It is not at 18,100. It's 18,200. This is the daily 200 SMA. So that would be sick at 18.2. Let's watch that. Let me just ensure something. It's okay. Boom, right there. Look for that pop and fade today. If we don't get that pop and fade, look for the shorts under 880. Look for the shorts under 760. And I would only, and I mean this sincerely, I would only look for a long. The only chance you have to look for a long today is a hold over 18.2. If you hold over 18.2, then you might get that push, okay? If you hold over 18.2, that might be the push you can look for. But I would not long this market under the 200 SMA and under 18,200. This would not be a spot that I'd be interested in longing anything below that 18.2. If you get above it, that could cause a little reactionary move, possibly up back towards that 18.5, which would be pretty crazy to see, but it is possible. So watch that 18.2 very closely. This is either that really sexy fade spot, or if you do find some kind of strength above it, that could be something interesting for the long side. But you gotta be careful of 18,200. That's that 200 SMA, and that is that clear-cut sort of reactionary level yesterday that I would be watching. Okay? QQQ, that is right around this 442 level. You guys can see right here, this 442, 441.60, right in this general area is where we sort of failed and caused rejections yesterday, right? This was that big drop. That's where this downside started to really come in. If I zoom out on the 15-minute chart, you guys can see right here. You can see that that is this 442 level right here. Below 442, I'm also spotting this little 439 level. Let me show you why. I'm just watching some of these intraday rejections from yesterday. So you guys see this right here, 439 right here, 442. I'm going to watch both those levels. This is almost like that 18.1, right? And this is really that 18.2. That's how I look at this. 18.1 is right here, right? Sort of like that 150 area. And then 18.2 is that 200 SMA. Might be, now that I look at this, wonder if it's a little bit more like 18.250. Hold on, let me take a quick peek at this and make sure this is correct. It could be a little bit more like 18.250 here. You see this? So I want to make sure I don't get that incorrect there. I think it could be a little bit more like 18.250. All right, look at this. 250, 250, 250, 250, 250. I think it is 250. So I'd go ahead and move that higher, guys. I'd go ahead and use 250. Right? Look at this 250. That's the level I'd use. 18,250. That looks to be more of the clean level. So you could watch that whole 250 to 200 zone, right? I'd put it as a zone. I'd put it from 250 to 200. I'd watch that whole zone. Anywhere from that 200 SMA to that 250 supply rejection yesterday. That's where I'd keep it. That looks a little bit cleaner to me now that I'm sort of looking at this with you guys real time. So that would be the same as around this 441.50, right? Right here, around this 441.50, 442 zone on the QQQ. That's right here, right? See this? 441.50, 441.50. See that failure yesterday? That's where I would watch today to see if there's some fades. That's both here and here. 441.50 and 439. You can see that rejection there yesterday. You see that rejection there intraday yesterday as well. So 439, 441.50 would be two spots that I'm watching today. Two of those spots there where we rejected intraday yesterday, those also line up pretty well, right? Actually, they line up fantastic right here, right? See this? 441.50, previous lows, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. That's exactly where we rejected yesterday. So 441.50, very clear on the QQQ there. I love that level, right? Some previous highs in this area that we rejected yesterday. If we pop back into it, looking for that rejection again. So watching 439, 441.50 on the QQQ. To the downside, I am slightly concerned of this demand below, right? Just sort of, being short into it. It looks relatively strong. 430 looks relatively strong, and that 200 SMA below looks pretty strong as well. So I am slightly cautious of that. I'd be careful being too exposed to the short side at 430. You definitely see the holds that came in yesterday at that 200 SMA. If we go down to the 5-minute chart, we can see a very strong reaction out of that level yesterday in the after hours. So be careful being too aggressively short into this level. This could definitely be sort of that double bottom low that we could hold today, right? We could do something like this, right? So if we start seeing us dropping and you start slamming the shorts here because, oh my God, the market's going down again and I got to get in puts and we're right at 430, you are exposing yourself to this, right? You cannot short at the lows, at the 200 SMA. Your entry point cannot be here, okay, on shorts. Your entry point needs to be here, right, or here on the fade, right? If you think the market's weak, if your general idea is that the market is weak, you are looking for pops to fade into, right? The scammer comes to the live stream. Get out of here, you piece of shit. My digit will display on your notification bar with my picture on it. Fuck you. Get him out. 439, 441.50, right? Look for those pops and fades. That's where you want to look short on this market, right? You don't want to short into holes. If you think the market's weak, you're not looking to short into holes. You're looking for those shorts on those pops and fades, okay? Let's go next. ES. S&P 500. So let's go to that 15-minute. Yesterday, beautiful fade of that 53.60, 53.50 zone up here on that ES, that gap fill reversal. The key yesterday was right here, guys, the 52.80. The 52.80. Clip it. Yeah, clip it. I'd love someone to clip that. The 52.80 was very clear yesterday. It's sort of like 52.90, but I think the 52.80 is where it really started to give up, right? Look at this right here. So 52.80, very clear on the ES. When we failed that level yesterday, you saw that downside really start to come in, right? Under 52.80, that's this previous low here. Nice rejection there. It's sort of rejected a little higher around that 52.90. So I'm sort of concerned about that, right? I see the 52.80 very clear, right? Look at this, 52.80. 52.80, 52.80, 52.80, 52.80, right? And so I'm definitely going to watch that 52.80, but it looks like yesterday it did pop a little bit higher, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep it at that 52.80 today and see if we can get some kind of fade off that level today. 52.80, very nice on the ES. What happened? The people that comment on the YouTube videos that, tell you, oh, this is Vincent, go check out my Telegram. He just commented in the live stream. He's coming to the live stream now. Hey, welcome. So 52.80, very nice, right? You guys can see right there, 52.80, very nice. I've seen multiple reactions at that level in the past, so I'm going to look to see if it fades again. Now, here in the morning, right, take a look at this, right? Look at what's happening right now on the ES in the morning. Look at this right here. See this low right here on the ES around that 52.40? See that previous low from Tuesday into yesterday? That's that pre-market low. That's where we bounced off of yesterday, right? You know how we had that downside come in on Tuesday and we woke up yesterday morning to upside in the pre-market? Where did that bounce off of? Right here, right? Perfect. 52.40. Look at what's happening, guys, at 52.40 this morning. That is perfect, right? That is perfect. You are turning the overnight lows that held this market higher into yesterday morning. Think about this, right? Logically, okay? This is where you got to really think logically through these levels. The level that held this market higher overnight yesterday into yesterday morning, right? Overnight Tuesday into yesterday morning has now turned into a rejection point. That is in no situation strong in any regard. There is absolutely zero reason to think that this market is going to move higher if you are rejecting under a pre-market low from Tuesday, an after-hour low and a futures market low between Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, right? That is about as clear-cut as it's ever going to get for you to think logically through a rejection level, right? Look how perfect that is. And it's just failing all morning. So if we get above it, right, then that's a very good reason to think that the market's going to sort of grind higher, right? If we get above it, we're probably going to see that grind higher, no doubt, right? We'll probably reclaim that level, right? If you start seeing this hold, then you're saying to yourself, all right, we reclaim these lows. I probably shouldn't short back into them, and I'm probably going to see this market possibly slide back higher, which would then give us our 52.80 fail that I would be looking for, right? If we stay under 52.40, then we are in extreme weakness, and we're definitely looking to fail or fade that 52.40 level back down into the 5,200 and 51.90. Now, I will make this very clear, right? Be very cautious. Be very cautious of 51.90 and 5,200. This is big time support, right? This is big time. This is must. This is fourth in inches, okay? This is fourth. I can't make it. I don't know how to make an in Amsterdam, whatever the fuck that's called. Fourth in inches, fourth and one, right? This is fourth and one right here. If we fail fourth and one, right, this is turnover on downs, and this is nasty. So this has to hold. If we break 51.90 today, if we break 50, it's really 51.90. If we break that 51.90 level today, yeah, it's gonna get sort of slippery, right? 51.50, 200 SMA, and that 50.90 down below. Okay, so that is very much somewhere to be careful of, right? That is 51.90, 5,200. That has to hold. That must hold. If we break that, I think very clear structuring downside, right? That could really continue here. Okay, that is 52.40 today, clear as can be at 52.40. If you get above it, you trade into 80, which is the next level to watch to the upside. If you move lower into 51.90, your entry points are not to short right here, okay? If you're looking to short today, you are not shorting right into 5,200. You are trying to find those highs to fade, okay? SPY, same exact concept here, guys. Exact same analysis. Look at this. 520, perfect. 520, 520, 520. Very nice, right? If we go out to that 15-minute chart, where did that SPY bounce off of between Tuesday, Wednesday? You guys can see right here. 520. 520, that's where we bounced off of. Look at what happened this morning. We're rejecting 520. Look how clean these SPY levels are on this chart. Look at this. 520, 524. See that? See how we held 520? See how we held 524? What happened yesterday? We rejected 524 and we were rejecting 520, right? These levels are just playing games back and forth, and all you have to do is trade between them, right? So if you maybe longed 520, maybe you longed 524, 520. Yesterday you shorted 524, shorted 520, right? The levels are the same. It's about how it's reacting to at that point, right? So 520, perfect. 524, these are my two fade spots, 520, 524. I'd look for a pop and fade at 524 today. I'd also look for that fade under 520 today if we're extremely weak. And the level that I think must hold here is this 515 right here. I'm going to move it down to 515 to be safe. You guys can see right here. 515. Boom, boom, boom. If we break under 515, then I think we're going to that 510. Okay? If we break under 515, I think we're going to the 510 lows. That's 510. That's 515. That's 520. That's 524. That's 530 that we rejected yesterday. Very, very clean. Let's look for fades here. Let's look for fades here. Be careful of bounces 515, bounces 510, right? And we're just trading between these levels today. Okay? Real quick, IWM 207 rejection. Shout out Piff. Piff, great trade yesterday. Took the 207 rejections on IWM. That was sick. I mean, that's the exact level we talked about. 207, 207. You go to that 5-minute chart. Look at these 207 rejections that popped in yesterday. Right there on the intraday. 207 support, flipping into a rejection. Look at how perfect that was. Right? 207 failures. Bam, bam, bam. Right? Beautiful. So beautiful trade there in IWM on the 207 failures. And today, very clear, failing that 203 level. 203, 203. If we stay under 203, this stays weak. 200.5 looks to be that support this morning. You could move it to 200 just to play it safe, right? You have that extreme low at 200. You can see right here. If I zoom in, you can see that extreme low at 200. You have that 203 rejection point that came in yesterday, very clear, coming in this pre-market as well. So I'd say between 200 and 203. That's your range on the IWM this morning. Okay? Very clear. All right, let's take a quick peek at this data. Let's see what it does. We got the data in 20 seconds. Let's see what it does. Press that like button. We're going to have to run an ad right before the data comes out. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let's see if the data creates upside. Maybe gives us that perfect pop and fade opportunity today. That could be awesome. Let's see what it does. Okay, so we're getting a little bit upside on that data. Let's look for that push into, I think, 18,200. This could be the spot that I would love to see. 18,200, 18,250. Would love to see us pop into this level today. That looks to be where we're probably headed here. Jobless claims 233 versus 241, so lower than expectations. Market's popping off of it. This is potentially exactly what we want for that 18,250, 18,200. Let's keep an eye on that. 524. Yep, okay, 524. Let's keep an eye on that 524. Let's keep an eye on that 5280. Perfect. And then that QQQ. I think it's probably going to be that 441.50, possibly the 439, but I think I like 441.50 a little bit more. But you can see it is sort of rejecting that 439 right now. Yeah, it's sort of rejecting that 439. I would prefer it a little bit higher, but you can see right now, if I can zoom in, it's rejecting that 439. Yeah, I'd really like it to be at 18.2, man. You don't do it now. No, you don't just short it right now, Joe. You got to let it bake. You know, guys, I say this all the time. Just because we pop into levels, I mean, oh my God, I'm short my entire account because it's right at the level. No, we gotta see it out, right? But this is exactly what you want. You want this little morning pop, get the chasing going, and then look to see if this thing fades again. That's what I'm gonna be looking at. But guys, okay, the key is, right, just because I make that game plan this morning and I'm interested in that fade, it does not mean that, I'm going to be going into it without some kind of confirmation. I need to see some failure set up. I need to see some weak action. I need some, actual intraday price action to get an idea of what it's going to do there. But that's at least the idea, right? It's the idea. We're going to see what happens. If it gets above it, right? If you get above 5280 today, you're going to go higher. If you start to hold that level today, right? If you start to hold above 18.2, 18.250 today, then yeah, it's probably going to go higher. So yeah, you don't want to do that until you really start to see some failures here. You're already starting to see some weakness step in on this pop. So this is definitely an interesting spot to watch today. All up in here. Definitely going to watch what happens as we push into this area. Keeping an eye on that supply above. Let's see. We'll step back into this after we look at some stocks. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at Tesla. Tesla finally got that fade off that 200 SMA. We finally got that 205 fade, that 200 SMA rejection. That was perfect yesterday, right off the 200 SMA. You guys can see right here, we had a pop and rejection. Right at the 200, very clean, right? And then we got sort of that pretty much just an all-day fade. I mean, pretty much all day. Just straight off that 200 SMA yesterday on Tesla. Today, I would not short into that 188 demand low. Right? It's very clear, right? There's a lot of demand down here at 188. I'd not be shorting into this. I would be looking to see if we reject this 195 actually. Right? Look at this. Previous lows, previous lows, previous lows. And once we broke that 195 yesterday, we turned it into a rejection point. I would be looking for that 195 rejection today. That's definitely something I'll be eyeing. If we get over 195, then we're probably going to continue higher on Tesla, maybe back up into these channel highs. But right here is a very clear little flip level on Tesla, 195, 195, 195, 195. I'm definitely watching to see what happens at 195 today, okay? 195. Let's keep an eye on that. NVIDIA, 97 still holding. That's that big level on NVIDIA. You guys can see right here. That's that big time demand that has been very important for NVIDIA. And you can see off the data, if I can zoom in, this TOS pissing me off. If I can zoom in, here we go. You can see how NVIDIA is holding that 97 right here. 97, big time holds. Be careful shorting into that low. I think the level to watch here today is right here, 101.50. That's been our level on our charts for a few weeks now. 101.50, 101.50. You can see that rejection yesterday after the hold, right? I think 101.50 is the level to watch today. Let's see what happens as we push into 101.50. Do we reject or do we get back above? If we get back above 101.50 today, then I would probably retire the short idea, right? That could be a nice hold, and that could definitely influence NVIDIA slightly higher, possibly up into that 100 SMA around 105. So for me, I'm going to be watching that 101.50. I'm going to be watching that 97. I'm going to look for the reactions here, right? The reactions here at each level. Basically just watching to see what happens at either one of these levels. Okay? AMD, not much. I mean, AMD 134 and 137 were pretty clear. I'm going to delete this 130 level. It looks like right here, this 134 and 137 have been very clear for the rejections, right? Look at this, look at this, look at these fails, look at the fails yesterday. So I'd be careful around 134 and 137 on AMD here, guys, as you move higher, right? 134, 137. Watch out for those highs on AMD today. TSM, pretty strong here, TSM. Pretty strong. You guys can see right here, 157.50, 157.50. You're holding this 153. You're holding above that 157.50. If TSM holds above this 157.50, I like that, right? That's actually pretty nice. That's a hold above Tuesday's highs. That could be a very clean hold on TSM as well. And it looks relatively strong right now in the pre-market. So 157.50, keep an eye on that level here, right? That could be very nice. If we hold above 157.50, I like that TSM continuation. Go out to the hourly chart. The other reason I think that's an important level, if I go to that 30-minute, take a look at this, right? Look at this, 157.50, 157.50, right? If you can hold above this, then I think you will probably try to push higher towards that 164. It's very possible. Nice little pullback yesterday. Beautiful hold on TSM at 153. That's a really solid looking hold. Look at this. 153, 153, 153, 153. Not a bad looking hold there on TSM at 153. So watch that, and then watch that 157.50. Qualcomm, I was interested in potentially fading Qualcomm, but the market's sort of pushing it higher right now. We'll have to keep an eye on it. This 156.34 level is huge on Qualcomm, and then you can see these rejections that continue to come in at 165. Another one yesterday, right? We talked about this yesterday in the live stream. Said look for those 200 SMA rejections on Qualcomm. Look at that thing again, right off that 200. Beautiful fade all day. If you get back into it, could fade again. So watch that 200, watch that 165. The reason I'm showing you this daily chart level, though, is right here, guys. Take a look at this. On the daily chart on Qualcomm, underneath this low right here, you guys see this low? There is little to no support down here, right? This is sort of a, I think Qualcomm under this daily low right here, I think it could fade very quickly. This is straight up, straight down, straight up. Really no support in here on Qualcomm. That is under this daily low, which for me is 156.34. And that is, if I go to this short-term time frames, Look at 156.34. It definitely is defending itself, right? Look at this. Right here, right here, right here, right here. That 156.34 is absolutely defending itself. It wants to hold that. So not going to short it until it gets under it. But for now, you can see very clear hold, so that could defend itself. Very important. But I think under this level, be on watch on Qualcomm. Be on watch because this could get sort of ugly. Nvidia broke above. Yeah, it's sitting right at it. What's Nasdaq at? Yeah, we're getting into that 18.2, 18.250, so we're getting close. This is going to be an interesting one. 52.80 as well. SPY 524, I'm assuming. Yeah. All right, let's see what happens there. That'll be interesting here. All right, let's go to Apple. Apple pretty strong yesterday. Did end up fading that 50 SMA that we've been watching, that 213, which is perfect. I mean, we talked about this all day. So really nice there if you caught that. Nice fade end of day. However, seems relatively strong, right? 207 holding, 204 holding. Some pretty decent holds on Apple. So I'm going to say be a little bit cautious on the short idea here. I think Apple's one that you probably don't want to get that aggressive short into. It's Apple at the end of the day. So watch this 213. If we can get above 213 and hold above 213, that could be an interesting little Apple long idea. So watch 213 very closely. This is a big level on Apple. Look how clear this is. 213, 213, 213, 213. If you see holds above 213, that could be the, upside that you're looking for that sort of gap fill move maybe into that, I don't know, what is that, 220, 219? So, yeah, I'd say watch that 213 today very closely on Apple. I like that watch. SMCI, man, SMCI has to get back over 500. It has to get over 500. Here's 500 on SMCI. I just want to show you here on the 4-hour chart. Look at this thing. Look at 500 right here. This is 500, 500. Very clear level here on SMCI. You have to get over 500 on SMCI. If you don't, you're going to 460. You're going to 410. Under 410 is really bad on SMCI. So 500 is the level that I would watch today on SMCI. Look to see if that is a fade spot or look to see if we can reclaim it. That's the key today, right here, right? Do we fade 500? If we start to see a fade of 500, that could really mean more downside here. If we get back above 500, I would retire the short idea. Maybe towards until that 530 level, right here. 530 right here. So I'd probably, if you get over 500, I'd let that thing go up to 530 and then look for it again. But if you stay under 500, that's an extreme fading move. I would watch that very closely today. See what happens at 500 on SMCI. Meta, we talked about that 510 level. It was that 510 level yesterday. I'm going to zoom out, show you why we were talking about 510. It was pretty nice. 510 level was a previous rejection point. Right here, we had those previous rejection points. Let me extend that to the left. So we had those previous 510, 510, 510. And if we go to the short-term time frames on the 5-minute chart, we can see right here, 1 second. Let me zoom over. Get a little bit more time here. 510. All right, see this right here? 510, bam. We saw that rejection here, and look at that rejection. That might have been the prettiest rejection of the day yesterday. So 510, beautiful pop and fade on Meta. Very clean level there. Keep an eye on that level today. The level I'd be watching today is 495. 495, very important here. You guys can see here yesterday, we had those rejections under 495. Rejections under 495. We had a hold above 495. So today, you're either looking for that hold above 495 or you're looking for that fail back below. So all eyes on, I'd say, 495 on Meta today. I think that's sort of your level that needs to be watched, okay, to sort of decide what this thing wants to do. Let's go to Google. Actually, no, let's go to Amazon because Amazon was sick yesterday. Really nice fade of our 168 level right here. Really nice fade of our 168 level. We've been talking about that 200 SMA and that 168, right here, 168. Look at that fade yesterday right off that level. Beautiful. 168, pop and fade. That's your supply that we were talking about. I don't know why my alert didn't get hit. Man, it got so close. 167.58 might, that sucks. It was so close to my alert. So really nice there, right into those previous highs. What a fader. Today, I'd look for the same exact thing. Look to see what happens if you push into 168. Look to see what happens when you push into that 200 SMA. Very clear demand down at 160, so we have no business shorting at 160. You are looking for that pop and that fade up at 168. If it gets above 168, then obviously things are changing here and we could move higher. But that would be the level to watch, and then the clear demand below at 160. Google, nice fade yesterday at our 164. We've been talking about that one as well. Nice fader there. I would say Google could possibly get into that 166 and maybe even that 168. Because they still got that gap, right? That's the thing I'm concerned about Google. You still got the gap up to that 168. So I think I'd still want to see us get into that 168 level on Google, especially on this strong move right now. I'd assume Google, here's what I would watch today. If Google can get over 164 today, guys, I would look to see if this can be longed into 168 personally. All right, look at this. If you can get over 164 today and you can see that market really hold up and maintain above this level, then you're probably going to look for this gap fill long, right? See this? This is a gap up into 168. So if you can get a hold above this 164 today and the market actually proves some strength, then look for that long into 168. Or watch the rejections of 164. Yeah, so we're testing that 200 SMA right now. So here's your big spot, guys. This is the name of the game today. We have gotten the test. Now it's game time, right? Now it's game time. What happens here today? This is where the money is made, right? The money is made on whoever is correct here today, right? Whether it's a fader or whether it's a long above, right? This is where the money will be made today. Is it a fader or is it a long above? That is going to be where the money is made, right in this zone. That's going to be very interesting today. Very interesting. Right at 52.80. That's where the money's made, right? Look at this. 52.80, our 524, right? All of the levels we just talked about are starting to react, right? So this is where it's going to get real interesting. So let's really pay attention to this, guys. This is where we have to be locked in, right? We've got to be locked into what's happening at these levels. Look at that 200 SMA reaction. Let's see what happens here, right? Let's see what happens here. This is going to be big. All right. What did I miss? I went over Google. I went over Amazon. I went over Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, Microsoft. I can go over quickly. I don't love anything on Microsoft, to be honest. The only thing I'd say is watch this little 405 area in that 200 SMA today. I would watch that right here, 405, and that 200 SMA. I'd be careful of that fade. Okay, be careful there. And then watch that 410 above. Okay, 410 above. Eli Lilly, yeah, just huge. Love it. Really nice for Eli Lilly. I mean, just a great stock to invest in, it seems, huh? Where's it up to? 8 something? It's all the way up here. Shit. It's almost back to the highs. Lovely. Hims. Hims is just sitting at the must-hold level, man. 16 is such a must-hold level for me. Right here. You guys can see Hims 16. That's got to hold. Got to hold that. All right. Oh, Coinbase. I wanted to show you Coinbase. Coinbase has a good setup today. This could be very interesting on Coinbase. Look. Oh, shit. It's already fading. Look at this. Coinbase could be very interesting. Look at this. Previous highs, lows, 186, 200 SMA. Look at this today. If we reject this 186 today, and we reject the 200 SMA, and we reject under this channel low, this could be a sick break and retest rejection. This could be very nice. Watch this Coinbase 186 level, that 200 SMA, previous channel lows. This could really be something to watch today. If we fade this and gap fill and maybe even move lower into this, this could be nice. Keep an eye on this 186 on Coinbase. All right, guys, that is my time. Yep. We're there, right? And so this is the game time. So this is where you're watching today, guys. 18.250. Let's see what happens here. If we get above 250 today, I'd assume we move higher. If we get above 52.80, I'd assume we try to move higher. And if we get above that SPY 524, I'd assume this market tries to move a little higher. Yeah, that 524 level. That's going to be very key today. Let's lock in on what happens at 524. Broadcom? Yeah, Broadcom 140. Big time. Yeah, big time, actually. Holy shit. Yeah, that's big. That could be a nasty rejection, guys. That could be a nasty rejection. If this market stays weak, that could be a very nasty rejection. Look at this. Previous low, previous low, previous low, previous low. Rejection yesterday. If we reject this today, and the market is weak under that 140, yeah, that could be pretty ugly. I might actually watch that myself. Good call, guys. I forgot to look at this one. Broadcom, 140. That's a must reclaim. You got to get back over 140. If you don't, careful down below. All right, guys, press that like button for me. We got about 2,400 people here. Thank you guys for all the support. Thanks for coming in. It seems like we're starting to, get the momentum going on the live streams again, so I'm really happy to see that. Thank you guys for coming back. Thank you for supporting the streams. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. CrowdStrike. But real quick, CrowdStrike, please. Yeah, it's the same thing, guys. 240, right? You don't got to ask me again. It's the same exact thing. When you guys ask me these questions, you already know what I'm going to say. We talked about 240 already. Look at that. Watch 240. Yeah. Watch 240. Please. Ayúdame. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I think the girls with their nails done now.